Hey everyone, welcome to the Evolution Show. Today we're going to be talking about some of our furry friends that are going to maybe be hibernating over the winter. So let's catch a glimpse of them before they go away for the season. So we're headed into fall, obviously, and after fall comes winter, and a lot of animals go into hibernation. And one group of animals that goes into hibernation, or at least some form of reduced activity, is rodents. And we have a bunch of different rodents in the store that I wanted to talk to you about today. And they're just obviously rodents. People are kind of like maybe a little repulsed by them. They're pests or whatever, but I think they're super cute. They're super furry. They have lots of really interesting behaviors. Some of them are really, really smart. So I think they're really fascinating group of animals. And they are going to be going away for the winter. So catch a glimpse of them now before they go away for the season. Maybe you can spot some of them in your backyard or in your local park. A lot of them are really common to this area of the United States, the Northeast, really throughout North America. So hopefully you can catch a glimpse of them before they go away for the season. So this is the group of critters that I'm going to be talking to you about today. As you can see here, we have a couple of different rodents for you to enjoy. They're in our rodent section, so we have a couple more over on this side as well. These are all rodents, all different types of rodents. As you can see, they're mostly small, but they can get quite chunky, like this guy back here. So very interesting group, lots of variation, but they all have those great front chompers, right? Those big teeth in the front. That's how you kind of recognize a rodent. So the first one I'm going to be talking to you about today is this squirrel. So this is an American red squirrel. Obviously, this one is not red. This is a melanistic version of a red squirrel. So sometimes, due to genetic variations, squirrels might come out black. Sometimes they come out completely white if they're albino. But this one is a melanistic version of an American red squirrel. So these are common throughout North America. They live on conifers, right? So they live on like pine trees and stuff, like Christmas tree type trees. And they live pretty much throughout the United States, except for on the Pacific coast. So on the Pacific coast, there's another type of squirrel that's more dominant as far as what you can see coming, in your backyard or in your local park. So otherwise, these guys are pretty common throughout North America. These are actually a type of tree squirrel. So there are two types of squirrels. There are tree squirrels and ground squirrels. Tree squirrels obviously live more in trees. Ground squirrels live more on the ground. And tree squirrels don't technically hibernate like ground squirrels. Squirrels go into full hibernation mode. Tree squirrels, they don't necessarily go into like a complete deep sleep, but they do significantly reduce their activity throughout the winter, and they stay really much closer to home. So they kind of gather their nuts and their seeds, and they make their little pile of food because they know that food is going to be scarce through the winter. They might venture out if they get really hungry, but otherwise they kind of stick close to home. So they definitely reduce their activity during the winter months. Another thing about squirrels is that they're extremely territorial. I did not know this, but squirrels are extremely aggressive against other squirrels. They absolutely do not like being around other squirrels. And in fact, there are very, very limited recorded instances of any squirrel behavior, squirrel interaction between another squirrel that is non-aggressive and that's not related to mating. So obviously they get together to mate, but in almost all other circumstances, they're acting aggressively towards each other or they avoid each other entirely. So not sure if that resonates with you as you are getting closer to seeing your family for the holidays. Hopefully you are not as aggressive as squirrels when you all get together and that you can actually enjoy each other's companies, but squirrels definitely do not like to get together for the holidays. So the next rodent I'm going to be talking to you about is the eastern gray chipmunk. Eastern gray chipmunk. So I am going to talk to you about this guy right here. He is super tiny, super cute. Chipmunks are definitely a common occurrence here in North America. They are common throughout the continent. They live in areas with deciduous trees, right? So those are trees that lose their leaves in the winter, but they don't actually live in trees. Actually, they live in underground nests that they construct that have extensive tunnel systems. So they don't actually live on trees. Interestingly, the name chipmunk comes from the language of Ojibwe, which is an Algonquian language, and it means literally one who descends trees headlong. So if you've ever seen a chipmunk go down a tree, they go down head first. And so that's what their name literally means in Ojibwe. So I think that is super cute, super, their behaviors are really adorable to watch. But don't be fooled, they are actually they are also really aggressive. So to other chipmunks, just like the squirrel over here. They do not want to hang out with other chipmunks. You would not see Alvin and the chipmunks in real life. They would not get along. They hardly ever interact with other chipmunks. They're extremely solitary. They basically only get together in terms of reproduction and mating activities. A mother chipmunk will stay with her young for 6 to 8 weeks, and then after that they are kicked out of the nest. They have to go out on their own because she does not want to be around them anymore. So chipmunks and squirrels, both highly aggressive, highly solitary rodents. Who knew? And the final rodent that I'm going to be talking to you about today is the muskrat. So a lot of people ask us if this is like a baby beaver or something, but no, this is a completely different animal. This is a muskrat. Not something we see quite as commonly. They are semi-aquatic rodents, so they live in wetlands, and they spend part of their time in the water and part of their time outside of the water. Their scientific name is Ondatra zibethicus. And as I said, they're common throughout North America. Their name in Powhatan, which is another Algonquian language, means it is red, so that's where we get the word muskrat. Some people think it has to do with the word musk and rat because it looks like a rat, but actually the word comes from Powhatan, so that's interesting. They live in nests that they build into the bank of the rivers, so they'll dig into the side of the riverbank, and they'll create nests for themselves. Or another thing that they will do, which is also really unique to them, is they'll gather a bunch of vegetation and mud and they'll create what are called like little push-ups. So it's basically a little mound that kind of sticks out from outside, a few like inches or feet from the riverbank. It's just like a little tiny mountain of vegetation and mud that they create for themselves. It has an underwater entrance, so they go under the water to get into their little homes that they've built in the water there, and they cover the hole to get into their push-ups with vegetation, which they then have to replace every single time they go in and out. So it's not quite as efficient as having a swinging door where they have to literally replace the door every single time they go in and out of their nests. So not quite as efficient, but hey, muskrat's got to do what a muskrat's got to do. They don't necessarily go into full hibernation either. They definitely reduce their activity. They are uniquely suited to going out when it's really cold. They have really thick fur, and they have a double layer of fur, so that provides some insulation from the cold water. But obviously food is much scarcer during the winter months, so they are forced to stay home quite a bit, and they actually will eat the inside of their home from the inside out. So they have a bit of a Hansel and Gretel situation there, where they're eating their own homes from the inside out because it is built with vegetation, right? So if they get really hungry and they haven't stored up enough food for the winter and they can't find anything to eat, they will literally eat their homes from the inside out. Another interesting aspect of muskrats is their tail, right? So I don't know if you can see it here, but their tail is kind of flat, right? It's not totally round. It's flat, kind of like a paddle. And that's exactly what they use it for. That's what they use to navigate in the water. They'll sort of like paddle like that. So that's one cool feature of muskrat anatomy. So here are the 3 rodents that I wanted to talk to you about today. None of them enter true hibernation, but they definitely do enter a reduced state of activity, and we will not be able to catch as many glimpses of them out in nature as we do at other times of the year. So say hello to these 3 rodents, and if you see them out in nature, say hi from me. Thanks for watching our video. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you are enjoying our videos, please like and subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And yeah, we're also on TikTok as well. So if you're on TikTok, follow us there as well. We're at The Evolution Store on most of the things, and you can visit our website at theevolutionstore.com. So this is the part where I read your comments. Our first comment today is from YouTube, from Diego, and he commented, "Hey, I loved the store so much. I hope to come back soon." Well, thank you, Diego. Thank you so much for visiting, and thanks for watching our videos. I really appreciate it, and we hope to see you around the store sometime soon as well. Our next comment today is also from YouTube. Fermion commented on a video that we've made last week or the week before, earlier this month, about our mascot, Slim. He is our skeleton that hangs in our window that we have had for 20 years. And he says, "So great, I didn't know any of this stuff about Slim." I'm happy to inform. There is a story around literally every single item in the store here. There is a backstory, there is a really interesting history, and I've been really enjoying doing these videos so that I can take you behind the scenes on literally every single item in the store. Our last comment today was made on a video that we had done, like a spinning video of a really cool fossil that we got in recently. It's an oreodont, which is a type of prehistoric, kind of like a mini pig. We've recently acquired a mortality plate. So it's basically the fossil itself in its sort of, in its death position, right? So you get the full skeleton and it's kind of curled up on the floor, and that's how it was found. And so we did a little spinning video so you could get like a 360 view of it. And our comment today is from Dard S8BR, and they commented, "That is cool." I agree, that is very cool.